affiliates, and we use most of our spectrum, and that's, by the way, most of the Hearst stations are network affiliates, meaning NBC or ABC or whatever. Most of our spectrum is used for our primary transmission, because to broadcast a high-def signal over the air, you know, it takes the majority of our spectrum. But there's other broadcasters in town, say a foreign language broadcaster sometimes, or a religious broadcaster, or an independent. They may not be transmitting in high def, or not in a version of high def that is required for sports. So different broadcasters have different amount of underutilized spectrum available to them. And how each of those types of broadcasters end up using the limited fixed amount of bandwidth they have is likely to be very different. I think in the end you'll see a complete range of all of the things you've described. We'll be using our spectrum for our primary transmission. We'll use, some of us will use it for multicast channels, or what you described as essentially becoming multi-channel distributors on our own. And increasingly so, I think you'll find broadcasters are using it for mobile transmissions, and there's even other uses of the spectrum. The standard that I've described, that passed about a year ago, includes in it the ability to do data transport. You know, I get pretty excited about thinking about how all of these electronic tablets that are going to be theoretically flooding the market in the decade to come, where we're going to, you know, instead of going out to our doorstep, or the New York equivalent of that, you know, opening up your door into the hall and finding your newspaper, you know, you're going to get out and your tablet will have the newspaper downloaded to it while you were sleeping. Well, somehow all those bits and bytes have got to get into all these e-readers as people shift to magazine and newspaper consumption through electronic devices, and the spectrum that we use could very well be used to, or the spectrum that we have could very well be used to, in fact, provide that type of data transport. So exactly how broadcasters will utilize the spectrum that we have is likely to evolve, and will vary broadcaster by broadcaster depending on what their core charter is.